And it looks like with 9 minutes until the live stream, we are now live. Or I should say I am, Mike Russell. It's Monday. How you doing in the chat today? Let me know how you are getting on. Trying something a little bit new as well. If it works. I'm streaming live to my Facebook profile, but Facebook's telling me it's only streaming to me. Oh well, I can watch myself on my own Facebook profile. Try again tomorrow. So hello to David Silk, who's there in the chat right now. We've also got Martina, Peter Young, Emma as well. I've been in the north of England. Far too many sarnies in the morning with brown sauce. Glad to have the red sauce back. I had a great long weekend. Thank you, Peter. Danes is in. Hello, Danes. Nice to see you. Pete as well. Nightbot's there. Nice to see some chat amongst yourselves as well. David and Pete in particular. A long chat. I'm just scrolling through it now. About removing parrot and bird noises. Actually, we covered that in the noise removal tutorial I did not so long ago on this channel as a live stream. Might want to check that out. Ben's in. Afternoon to you, Ben. Benny Boy as well. Nice to see you. Mujo. It was a lovely, lovely weekend. I can't wait to get stuck into today. If you're just tuning in, you're in the live chat live. We're getting going in 7 minutes and 12 seconds. English for Technical Aviation. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Jason, nice to see you again in the chat. Today we're using your voice box as an instrument. So it ought to be exciting. Okay, I think I edited the privacy of the Facebook Live video. So, yeah, I mentioned, by the way, if you're watching this on demand, you can skip ahead 6 minutes and 30 seconds and get to the content if you like. This is just the pre-show chat, or chat if you like. Can't speak. Mr. Mega Radio UK's in. Hello to you. Ready to go. PB the Vlogs. Good evening there in Melbourne, Australia. Always a difficult time. Yeah, go on. Brew yourself another coffee. So, as well as streaming on the Facebook page at facebook.com/musicradiocreative, I am testing simulcasting this on my Facebook personal profile. I just made it public as well, so I don't know if you're able to tune in, but if you are, that's good. Anyway, I just thought it might get a wider reach streaming on Facebook on my personal profile, because I know certainly in the app on Facebook they give more preference to people streaming than pages and brands. You get a little notification, don't you, that someone's gone live, so I thought I'd test that out today. I earned it. What are you talking about, David Silk? David Lewis, hey Mike, welcome back. To North was good. Oh, it's great. Plenty of good food and good times. That's the north of England for our international viewers, by the way, that I went to over the weekend. That's why I wasn't here on Friday. Hello to Gameplay Magic. Bojan's there. Good day to you. Nice to see you there. We are getting going in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. If you're new to the stream, by the way, do type the word new, N-E-W, all caps, into the chat so we know you're new. GK, oh look, David is a new moderator. Yes, has been for a few days actually, and he has earned his hammer indeed. says, can't see my live stream on the personal profile. Yeah, I've got a feeling I did something funky this time, and I made it only available to me, which was a bit silly. That's why no one's watching, which is unusual. So I'll just have to figure it out next time. So I'm trying to simulcast on the Facebook page, Music Radio Creative, and my personal profile as well. I can see it, but I think I'm the only one in the world that can. Hey Mike, it's Tim there in Middlesbrough. Cheesy grin, David. Really like the sound effect, says English for Technical Aviation. This is kind of a pre-show meditation, a little ritual I do before I go on. Extreme Higher, new. I'm ready, and I'm still new to audio, but always ready to learn. Well, it's great to have you here. We are here every single day between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. UK time, so it'd be great for you to subscribe to the channel and click the bell wherever you can to remind of upcoming streams. I think you get a notification from YouTube every time it goes live. Nice to see so many of you in pre-show already, which is great. If you haven't done so already, do share this with a friend. Share this with a friend or with a group of friends, if you like, on your social network of choice. Thanks, David. Amma likes doing meditation as well. Ravigo55 is back. Hooray! Hi, and nice to meet you again. If you do share this stream, by the way, just let me know in the chat where you share it. I'm curious. Just type something like Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. And I really would appreciate that, by the way. Gonna get into it in 1 minute and 54 seconds. So now is the time. Okay, get ready. We're getting into the 1 minute countdown, and it starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Testing the left speaker. Left. Testing the right speaker. Right. Testing phaser. Full frequency sweep. Stand by
for Music Radio Creative Live with Mike Russell.
MRC Live. Music Radio Creative Live.
With Mike Russell.
Starting in 30 seconds.
And a big hello to you. I am Mike Russell from musicradiocreative.com, and look at that, all lighting up and growing with the stream today. It's fantastic to have you here. I'm so excited to do a brilliant hour of sound design, audio production using only one thing, and that is your vocal cords. And manipulating them and twisting them to make crazy little sounds inside my favorite audio editing software, which is Adobe Audition CC 2017. By the way, hello to Facebook Live viewers who I can see are tuning in now. It's good to see you on Facebook Live. Get your comment in. I can see your comment wherever you post it on my multiple screens that I have all around. If you're brand new to the show, like I can see Jawad from Morocco is brand new to the show. We also had a chat from earlier on in the chat. Who do we have? Extreme Higher, who is also new to the show. Then you're very, very welcome. Type the word word new, all in capitals, into the live chat and let me know that you are new to this show. It's the show for audio fiends, people who love making audio, DJs, radio people, podcasters, audio producers, voiceover artists, anyone who needs to make creative audio. This show is for you, and it streams live every weekday, Monday to Friday, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. UK time. And I always like to test new technology on this show. So if you are watching on Facebook Live, it's great to have you there, facebook.com/musicradiocreative. I thought I would try something clever because I thought, can you simulcast the same stream to a Facebook page and a Facebook profile, right? So I thought, yeah, why not? So I thought, yeah, I'll take advantage of my personal profile, and you get a lot of coverage in the newsfeed, don't you? Particularly the app that tells you your friend is live. And I started this going now, look, that's me there on the Facebook app, and I'm broadcasting live to myself because I set the privacy as just to me. So maybe we'll try that again tomorrow. But I am thinking of live streaming on Instagram Live, although you have to do that from the app, and it's all rather... there you go. That's the Instagram app. So I was thinking maybe I will give a behind-the-scenes view. I've never gone live on Instagram before, and I was thinking if I click the live button, look at that, start live video there. By the way, sorry, I'm showing things to the camera for those of you listening to the podcast. Live on Instagram, never tried this before. Maybe I will just put my camera down here and give anyone who tunes in to my Instagram Live a kind of behind-the-scenes look at me and my green screen. How can I position this camera? There we go. That should do it. Right. I'm going to go live on Instagram and just see if I get anyone tuning in. Start live video. Check in connection. Ooh, so exciting. Let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1. I'm now live on Instagram. That's so awesome. Wow. Okay, for those of you watching on Instagram, this is my first ever time on Instagram, and you're getting a kind of green screen view of me. I'm actually live right now on youtube.com/musicradiocreative and a multitude of other places as well. But I thought I'd get in with the latest streaming technology, which is, of course, Instagram. So we'll leave that rolling in the background. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it, but I thought it would be a good idea. Peter Young. Hello, Peter. I see you on YouTube, and now you've hopped to Instagram. So thank you. Throw me a heart or a comment or whatever it is you do over there on Instagram. Anyway, that's enough about everything right now. How are things with you? Let me know in the chat right now what you've been up to over the weekend. Those of you who are regular viewers to the show will know that I was not here on Friday. I wasn't having wisdom teeth extracted. I was in the north of England enjoying all of the beauty of places like Preston and Manchester and Blackpool. And it was a fun weekend, but I'm glad to be here. Oh, I can see we've got Ansi114, Johnny on air as well, Elaine V3 on Instagram. Wow, this is pretty good. Hi, Instagrammers. This is my first time on Instagram Live. I do a live stream Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. UK time about audio. Hassan is from Norway. Wow. No sound on Instagram. That's strange. Anyway, it's there, and you're seeing my green screen, but if you tune into the real stream at youtube.com/musicradiocreative, you'll see the fully produced show. Right, now, without further ado, I'm going to get into it and show you my screen and tell you a little bit about what I'm up to today. I'm using vocals and vocal cords as an instrument and editing in Adobe Audition. Let me just check my microphone is working. Ooh, that kind of stuff, okay? And favorites normalize to get big fat waveforms. And let's play it back. Ooh. And we'll just have some fun manipulating this. Effects, amplitude and compression. Oh, thank you for the subscribe, Kunal. That's nice. Tom, listening from Barcelona on holiday. I hope you're okay, Tom. Heard about the terrible tragedy there towards the end of last week, so I hope you're keeping safe there. Let's get into the single band compressor and just fatten this up a little bit. What are we going to do? Preview everything. Ooh. Okay, so just put some fat compression on that, and then we'll go into something like modulation and phaser. This is where we can start dialing around with silly effects. So default here. Ooh. And we'll change the modulation rate up. Ooh. And you can already see some changes here.
Ooh. Mm. Ooh. Mm.
But there are so many different presets we can play with here.
Ooh.
So this is kind of phasing happening on the voice here. And you can see the curvy patterns.
Ooh. Mm.
And we can do stuff like, what else can we do? We could use, oh yes, one of my favorites recently, the Doppler Shifter. That sounds a bit like a mouse, doesn't it? But we've got all kinds of different effects we can do here to the voice.
Ooh. Mm.
So already going rather wobbly, and I'm going to use a bit of the Spectral Frequency display, and I wanted to give a shout out to another YouTube channel that I recommend you check out. Amazing stuff. I was just made aware of this last week by my friend Josh, who watches this live stream from time to time. And the YouTube channel is called Cinema Sound, and it's really quite good. He's got 131 subscribers at the moment, but I believe he deserves more subscribers, so you really ought to take a look at this. But I wonder if I can play you part of his YouTube video that really caught my attention. It's misusing software for the best sound effects results. And just watch this. This is killer. Watch some of this.
Even if you're set.
We've got some dialogue here from a film I worked on a little bit ago. Here's what it sounds like.
Garth likes to play down his contribution.
Okay, so let me just take you through this. He's playing some dialogue, as he mentions, from a film he's been working on. That's a lady's speech, and he's using, I believe, Isotope RX, which is similar to the Adobe Audition Spectral Frequency display. Let me skip ahead just to get to the core of the video. So what he does is he starts scribbling on the spectral frequency display to create sound design elements from a voice.
We'll add some of this in.
So he does
some of
this.
her opening, maybe some of her breath. Add a little breath.
And let's listen to
See
it.
what happens.
So now that dialogue is completely inaudible, but you're creating really cool sound design elements. So I thought that was cool. Like I said, I don't want to play you the whole video, because if you want to go and see it, you can go and watch it. In fact, I'll link it up for you in the live chat now if you want to bookmark it and watch it later. But I did think it was really rather cool, rather fun, and some cool stuff you can do in Spectral. So say now I've kind of phased this audio a little bit. What I could do is make this spectral frequency display rather big, and it's not quite as dynamic as Isotope RX, but I can select just one bit at a time of this, yeah, like that. And that's obviously the spot healing tool. But I wonder if we can do with this spectral frequency. Yes, and if you hold down Shift here, you can start selecting different bits and different parts of what I had there. So similar to, as you've seen in the video, I'm not sure of the name of the chap behind this channel. Let's have a look at the main page here. Cinema Sound Trailer. Let's go to About here and have a look. Definitive resource for all things audio in film. Don't know the name of the chap who runs the channel, but like I say, yeah, it seems to be a relatively new channel that started up with some recent uploads, some of them featuring Adobe Audition. So that's why I thought I'd give a big shout out to Cinema Sound and that particular tutorial, misusing software for the best SFX results. So I'm going to use some of the technique that you've just seen in that video and see if we can create some interesting design elements ourselves here just by scribbling across spectral frequency. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Now, holding down Shift, I'm then Shift selecting the bass, Shift selecting up here and here. So it's kind of audio graffiti there, if you like. Start a new audio file and paste it there, and now you can see literally that audio graffiti that I've made has turned into something quite fascinating there. So that's interesting. Let's take that over into the multi-track and see what we can do with it. So go to my downloads folder over here, and we'll create this sound design template. And I'll use my MRC Adobe Audition presets that are available to buy, by the way, at mrc.fm/presets. Let's bring in that part here, and I'm going to add on a little bit of an effects rack, studio reverb analog delay, and whack up the reverb wet. That's really interesting. It sounds like a kind of interesting Star Wars character or something from outer space. So really cool tip there that I enjoyed. And let's just go back to this right now and see what else is possible with this. So you can, of course, marquee select different frequencies, which are quite cool. So that's the bass, the mids, the low, the highs, like that. And I think you can only select one part at a time with the marquee selection like this. So you really have to laser in on the frequencies you want to take or keep. If you've never used Spectral Frequency Display, by the way, before, you can just click Show Spectral Frequency Display, Shift D, and then that will load up your Spectral Frequency Display, and you can have a good old play with it and get your desired effect. Something else I wanted to do, and I heard this in a radio sweeper on a radio station called XFM in London, 104.9, years ago. It's a producer I really respect called Ben Needle. I think he's from a company now called Noise Fusion or something like that. And he used to create all kinds of crazy effects with his voice inside the radio sweeper. So what he would do is he would scream something into the microphone like that, literally just like that, and then he would turn that into an audio sweeper. So let me show you the kind of effect he would do. I'm going to try and replicate it now. Okay, so we take something like that, and then we go into a new file so as not to destroy what I've recorded there. And I'm just going to take this bit. Okay, so he'd take the start of that, and then he would paste it a few times, from what I understand, and then he would reverse it like so, and then he'd do something really crazy like a pitch bender on it. So it would go default here. Let's try taking it up from here to here, or maybe down and then up. Let's just see what kind of effects we can get. Bring this right down. So, wow. Okay. Let's bring that up a little bit. Or maybe down. Down a bit more over there. And then in the multi-track, you could kind of take that in here and then paste this like this. So we've got, let's take that bit out for the minute and do a kind of almost reverse scratching on this sound design element. So bring that in like that. Going to look at some of your questions, by the way, in just a minute. I'll get to them in about 1 minute. Mention them every 15 minutes. So something like that. And then you can put some imaging effects in as well. And I reset my Adobe Audition recently, so I've got to go back and find out what I'm looking for here. Producers, library. There we go, imaging sound effects. All right, let's bring in effects with tails here. And let's go for a riser as well. So, really crazy stuff you can do with your voice if you're... Let's actually match all the loudness on all of these clips here. Match clip loudness. So you can have real fun with Adobe Audition with your voice, just changing things around. Trade Parrot, thank you for the info, mate. Made a donation there. My goodness, is that a Brazilian currency? If so, I am absolutely blown away by your generosity. Thank you very much for that, Trade Paradodos. Really, really appreciate that. Very kind of you to donate to the show via Super Chat, something that is always really helpful and really just supports and maintains the show and keeps it going. So thank you very much. Let's give a big shout out now to everybody who's in and watching live now, as I like to do every 15 minutes during the show. And we will be using, or I will be using in the future, Ule's fantastic question and answers lower third generator, which if you've been watching the last few days, last week, you'd have noticed I have these wonderful lower thirds that appear when I'm answering questions. Had a little problem with the server today though, so it's not running today, but we will have it back with you very soon indeed. But a big hello to Isabella, who's there in the chat right now. She's moderating, along with David Silks in there as well. Like I mentioned, we've got Ravigo in there as well. Dane's Play, nice to see you. Hassan Jama from Norway. Who else have we got? We've got Irop from Ukraine watching right now. Daft Cat Brewing, nice to see you back, Daft Cat Brewing. Really good to see you back. What else have we got in here? I'm new from Florida. That's DJ Pito Powerhouse Pro. Nice to have you in on the chat. What else have we got? Matt Prod. What green screen? Yes, exactly. It's hard to see the green screen on the live stream, but if you are watching, as I can see, we have got some people watching on Instagram right now. It's really, really nice to have you in on Instagram Live. Thought I'd give that a go. Just show you behind the scenes here of the live stream on Instagram. PB the Vlogs, that's very unfair, saying the north of England is the same as having teeth extracted, surely. Come on, it's not that bad. Jason, love your intro. Would love to have something like that for my Second Life 80s Club DJ intro. Jason, get in touch with Isabella there in the chat. I know we had a special offer on it last week, so I know it's not currently available, but reach out to Isabella and let's see if we can make you something similar or custom for your Second Life 80s Club DJ intro. Tim is enjoying from Middlesbrough, as he says. Joyce Cian, Noseworthy, I think it's only available this week on his site. Oh yes, well done, Joyce Ian, answering the question there. Samuel is in. I join again. Nice to meet you. Ule is there on the phone for today's live stream. That's very dedicated. Very impressed. What else have we got here? Yeah, a bit like Chewbacca, the sounds I've been generating, right? Thunderstruck Productions there. I like the way you explain, says Lionel. That's very kind of you. Michael Duffy saying good morning. Kwame as well. Hey, Mike from Ghana. What else have we got here? Hello, just logged in from Tanzania, says Zukali. Lionel's in from Zimbabwe. Great to have a load of live viewers in Africa today. David asked the question, I often have to rip vinyl. I want to get rid of crackles and hiss. I'm capturing noise print from the start of the track, then dragging over the entire track, then noise reduction process. Is that okay? Well, I wouldn't necessarily use noise reduction for getting rid of crackles from vinyl. What I would do is, if I remember rightly, I haven't used this for a long time, but in the effects menu here, noise reduction restoration, if you go in here, there is a click and pop eliminator process in Adobe Audition. Now this process, and I have not used this for a long time because there's not been a vinyl or a piece of vinyl I've needed to decrackle recently. But here you can set it up for your vinyl here. And you've got the pop oversample width that you can mess about with, and all kinds of different areas here. You can actually scan the track for levels here, so it'll and then you can just tweak the dials a little bit. So David, if I were you and I was de-clicking and de-popping vinyl, I would be using the click pop eliminator effect as opposed to using what you would usually see, effects, noise reduction, capture noise print. I don't think that's the best thing for the job, and there is a click pop eliminator there. Also a plugin you saw me demo last week from Antares, SoundSoap or SoundSoap Plus, does, I believe, have a crackle eliminator. I'm sure it did. Declick, yeah, declicking. So you can use the declicking there if you own that product or you're considering buying it. There is a declicker there as well that you might want to give a go to. And David Silk actually confirms there in the chat, the click and pop eliminator works great. So there you go. That might be exactly what you want to use. Sean says awesomeness over on Facebook Live. We've got Mark Hesselwood saying it's Marky from Whaley Radio 107.4 FM tuning into your live stream. It's good to have you there. And I do have some questions that have been submitted, including this one I thought was really interesting. Came into my email inbox, so I'll show it to you here. I've just copied and pasted this into Sublime Text so I can show you on the screen. It's from Cameron at Dice Radio. And he says, just a quick email to say how much I love your Adobe Audition tutorials on YouTube. They have been a great help over the past few years. However, there is one question. After hours of Googling and messing around in Audition, it remains a mystery. For upcoming podcast project, I need to be able to disguise a voice much in the vein of Banksy or Anonymous in their videos, so the original voice is not identifiable. But it also needs to be done in such a way that the seriousness of the piece is not lost, i.e., the voice does not sound too comedic or cartoony. Any advice on what the best way to achieve this in the latest version of Adobe Audition would be? That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks, Cameron, Dice Radio. We love music. I love music too. So yeah, I will absolutely, Cameron, answer your question right now on the live stream because I think this would be very helpful to others. The first thing I can show you, a really easy win. If you're a Mac user, you're going to absolutely love this. And if you don't know about this, this is just brilliant. I've got a terminal open. I'm going to open another one. Hang on, I should probably show you how to do that. So let me close down my terminal. So if you've never used the terminal on Mac OS, let's just close that completely. Usually it's not there docked in your taskbar. If you've never used terminal, all you do is Command space to get Spotlight and you type terminal into Spotlight and it will fly up there with terminal in your utilities, yeah? Open that up. There you go. That's just a terminal. Now, it doesn't usually look like this. Usually it's a white background with black text. But I've got a custom thing called Oh My ZSH, which if you're a geek, you'll probably love that. Or if you're a developer. If not, don't worry about it. Just use the standard terminal. And you can say here, you can say something that you want to be said. Say for your anonymous character, say, hello, this is someone you don't know. And I bet you the moment I play this, you're going to recognize this. Oh, why is it doing that? Oh, probably because I put one of those silly things in. It's probably escaping the quote. So I'm just going to get rid of the apostrophe for a moment.
Hello, this is someone you don't know.
Or I could say, hello, we are anonymous. You know, that group.
Hello, we are anonymous.
Yep, and I think you'll probably agree that sounds pretty similar to, say, we are not a fan of your actions.
We are not a fan of your actions.
So there you go. That's an easy win in the Mac terminal. I did want to show you, I will go in a little bit deeper to this because I think it's quite cool. And it's similar to sound designing with voices. If you go into your system preferences, and I think it's accessibility in there, yeah, accessibility, and you look at speech, if by default you've not got that anonymous sounding voice, you can change it here in accessibility speech. System voice is Alex, United States male, but I mean by default I think I had Daniel enabled, who says this, you are, oh wow, J.O., thank you for subscribing. You are the weakest link, goodbye.
You are the weakest link, goodbye.
So that's Daniel, who's obviously Siri, and you can just, yeah, I mean, if you've never tried this before, it's a really fun thing. We've got Princess here. Hello, I'm inside your computer. Oh, again, I've put, yeah, it doesn't like apostrophes. Just bear that in mind.
Hello, I'm inside your computer.
It's nice. And then you can get into the United States novelties as well. If these aren't preloaded with your Mac, by the way, just click Customize here, and then I think you can tick any language or any country, and it will download that voice. But the novelty ones are pretty good. Bad news is, here is another tutorial.
Here is another tutorial.
Okay, so go ahead and have fun with that to your heart's content. One more.
Music Radio. Yes!
Oh yes, and I know a chap who uses this. You'll recognize this if you listen to his podcast.
The Tim Ferriss Show.
Although I think he spaces it out, so it's something like, let's do it like this: the ... Tim ... Ferriss ... show.
The Tim Ferriss Show.
So yeah, if you're a listener to the Tim Ferriss Show podcast, it's Zarafox there to create that similar style effect on Mac. And you can do all of this inside Adobe Audition with Generate Speech as well, but it's just really cool. You can just do it straight in your terminal. I know I'm being very Mac one-sided at the moment. Otherwise, you want to start a new audio file and say, hello, yes, I don't want my voice to be recognized. I'd rather remain anonymous. Now, the best way to do this is normalize, obviously, and there's our audio. And what they usually do on the TV when they're doing this is they go to time and pitch, and you would stretch and pitch, and then you would... let's have a look. Let's go to default, or let's go to lower pitch here. So we're going down by 5 semitones.
Hello, yes, I don't want my voice to be recognized. I'd rather remain anonymous.
Now, the interesting thing, if you do just that, minus 5 semitones, what somebody can do...
Hello, yes,
is take that and then go and do the same thing but the other way, so just plus 5 semitones. And what happens, lo and behold... Hello, yes, I don't want my voice to be recognized. The voice is recognizable again. So be careful with pitch shifting down, as happens a lot. You need to do a little bit more to the voice inside Adobe Audition than just pitching down, because as you can see, somebody can just pitch it back up again and recognize who that voice belongs to. So minus 5 semitones like that, and then you could do there are many other ways that you could probably disguise the voice. I mean, if you have access to a plugin such as Isotope Vocal Synth, this could be a good thing. So now I've not only pitched it down, but if it lets me add in a preset here, dark swells. That's probably too dark. Although some of these are a little bit out there, shall we say. But you can have a mess about with that, so it doesn't sound too comedic, but it sounds like something you would want to use. So thought I'd spend a little time answering the question there for Cameron. Will says, another good show. Thanks for teaching me something new. Sounds like a singing robot. It does, doesn't it? Oh, David wants to hear an Aussie voice on the Mac terminal. Yes, I do wonder, actually. I haven't downloaded, I know, shock horror, any Australian voices. I should have them on my computer. England, Australia, we got Karen and Lee. So might need to wait a little while for it to download. So while I wait for Karen and Lee to download, surely they should be called Bruce and Sheila, right? Surely. But anyway, they're downloading now, and maybe I can use an Aussie voice in a minute. Terminate your terminal. Very interesting question by Cameron, indeed, isn't it? I think your best bet is to use generate speech there, because then you get a serious kind of voice, but there's no chance of somebody pitching or recovering a voice. That's the risk you always run if you use effects in an audio editor on a real voice to anonymize it. There is always the risk that somebody can reverse engineer the effects you've put on and discover who the real voice is. So we're halfway through the show. I'll go back to that Aussie voice in a minute when that audio downloads. But talking about vocal synth, there are lots of really cool things you can do with this to make your voice sound really good. So if you wanted to create imaging effects with your voice like this, normalize, got all those effects. Let's go back now over here to multi-track, and we're just going to layer these all up, because as we know, layering is always a really good thing to do. And I'm going to move those all onto the same track and just see how this sounds already. Now I'm using my Adobe Audition presets, so on the first track I've got just a dry voice that sounds like this. Lots of reverb and a little bit of analog delay, and then over here you've got the low rolled off from that one. Over here a bit of chorus making it stereo, which is quite nice on that bassy rumble there. And then we got this one which will have echo. You can hear the echo kind of echoing away. If I wanted, I could go into Effects Rack and enhance that echo a little bit. So enhance the level and the feedback, and maybe add on more bass. Really cool. And then we'll go over here to voice flanger, which is nice. If you're listening in stereo, sounding rather funky. Let's change the final delay time up a bit, and the initial delay time, to get something really cool. Modulation rate. That sounds really good, doesn't it? And then fading out at the end. And then bring it all together, lay it up, and we've got something that sounds like... Okay. So then I might want to go through and add in some EQ, so we can do some really funky EQing until we get a sound that we'd like. For instance, over here, I might decide to roll off some of the highs here. And I could do this on the voice effects bus here, which would apply to all of the effects I'm working with. So let's go to parametric here, default, and just see what happens if we roll off some of the high here. And I can hear a rather nasty whistling there. I whistled in one of those effects. So let's go again in and pop on, where are we here? Parametric, and I'm going to go for just one notch, which will be, let's call it number 2, and bring that down, make the width smaller, and we'll try and find that squeaky frequency. Let's loop it round. That's cool. Let's bring in another notch here and see what we can play with. Making these notches smaller give you fine grain control. There we go. That's where the annoying frequency was. Let's try and tighten that up a bit more. Okay, and then we can have some fun by using a plugin like, what do we got here? Yeah, Isotope Vocal Synth, and see what kind of sounds we can get out of Vocal Synth. This is one of my go-to plugins that I always use to manipulate the voice. It's really good for vocal manipulation. So using here just the Polyvox, you can do something like that, or the vocoder, which is interesting to say the least. Not much going on there. Let's try the CompuVox, switch that on and bring that in. Or maybe the TalkBox. Let's switch that on and turn that up. And what we could do is we could use that in tandem with the dry signal. So it's kind of layering it up even more. Distortion is always good when you're trying to disguise the voice and turn it into an instrument. So let's have a play with turning the wet right up. And filter. Maybe not using filter this time. Transform. That's really interesting what you can do with that. Wow, my goodness. Let's go back to that sound design element there and loop it round. Turn the wet down on that. And shred. Interesting. Maybe that's too much. You've got delay on there as well. Loads of really cool stuff going on that you can do. Back into the voice effects bus. Let's see if there's anything else I might want to add to this to really make it sound quite special. We could go for... there is native distortion in Adobe Audition that might give us another sound on this. So let's try a few presets. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So Green Room Angus is good. Infinite distortion. That's loud. That's very, very loud. Tape drive. So something like that, we could then choose to bounce down the selected clips in time selection. Oh, that'll only give me one clip, won't it? Or will it give me all of them? Let's try. Yeah, that's given me one clip. Really, ideally, I wanted to select all of them and then bounce down selected clips in time selection. Let's try and get that. Get rid of this. So we've got here interesting sound. Normalize that. So really, really cool stuff that you're doing there just with the voice. And there's plenty of other stuff you can do as well. Like, for instance, we could go through and take this now into the time and pitch bender. And we can manipulate this sound effect to be even less human-like and even more kind of crazy. So I'm just painting on now some pitch shifting and then pull it right down. So that's pretty cool. I quite like that. Spline the curves to make it smoother. Which is brilliant. Love that. I just love what you can do by dialing in crazy effects inside Adobe Audition to create something out of nothing, as it were. Let's see what else we can do with this. Chorus is always a good one to dial in. So starting with the default, let's just highlight that bit. So that makes it obviously more stereo. There's some nice presets in here. Let's go from bottom to top. That's quite nice. Tiny pebble. I want to get something that sounds really out there. Let's go for robotic bee attack. Not much happening there. Project Nightmare. And you can hear that one has a nice sort of delay at the end. Project Nightmare, fluttery. That's cool, isn't it? Take the modulation rate up to make it modulate further. Really, really cool. Watch what's happening in the preview window to it. It's kind of like jittering it in and out, as you can see. The difference between top and bottom there. Bring the modulation rate down and you'll see those jitters spread out a little bit. Modulation depth as well. We can take that down. Make it subtle. What else have we got? Chaos pits. Wow. I'm really digging some of these effects. Turn down the wet a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, you can just have endless hours of fun messing about with these different effects. Really, really enjoyable stuff that I like to do from time to time in Adobe Audition. Just the limit really here is your imagination, and I'm playing with obviously the native effects here in Adobe Audition, but also using some audio plugins, of which there are some really good ones. I mean, we could go in and use one of my favorites to use quite often is the ring modulator. I usually use this on voiceovers. There's no reason why we shouldn't use a ring modulator on some sound design as well. Starting with the default sound. Let's have a listen. And actually, I'm going to undo the chorus, and we can go to treble here. So that's kind of a tuney sort of radio sound. With this one, what we're doing is we're putting in noise, white noise, into the ring modulator. So you get that staticky kind of sound. What else have we got here? Let's have a look. That's a nice one. And as you can see, a frequency is clearly going right through the center there at about just over 6K, actually, which is amazing. And we can change frequencies here. So let's move that down, see how that affects them. A little bit, yeah. Let's try this one. Or one of my favorites is Badland Omni. Let's try that. And you can change the frequencies and the depth here. Let's take the depth up and the frequencies around. What else is really good to change on here? There are so many different settings. By the way, this ring modulator, if you want to get it, is completely free to grab, and I will post you the link, or maybe one of the moderators will post the link in the chat. It's mrc.fm/ring modulator. That's mrc.fm/ring modulator. Go ahead and have a play with it. It's great to see some viewers on Twitch today at twitch.tv/music radio creative. You can also tune in on Facebook Live at facebook.com/music radio creative. We're on youtube.com/music radio creative as well, playing about. And also thanks to the wonderful service that you can access at mrc.fm/restream. You can access us on places like Mixer, on Smashcast, on VK Russia, OK Russia. We're on so many different platforms. It's unreal. And that's thanks to a great free service that you can use at mrc.fm/restream. So I hope you're enjoying the show today. Oh, and by the way, I should mention we're also on Instagram Live, trying out Instagram Live, which is quite fun. I can see that there are a few people tuning in, have been in and out on the Instagram. So it was quite fun to do this as a little experiment, just out there streaming the live show on my mobile out to Instagram. But if you are watching on Facebook, it is fantastic to have you there. And now I know that David was quite keen for me to try the generate speech effect that I was demoing earlier with an Australian voice. So let's see. I believe we have Karen and Lee downloaded. So all that's left is for me to go over here into my little terminal, and now I've changed to Lee, the Aussie voice. We'll say, "G'day, mate, how ya going?"
"Day, mate, how ya going?"
No, that doesn't sound Aussie to me. Say, "I am from down under, and it is great here."
"I am from down under, and it is great here."
That's not too bad now. Say, "Throw another shrimp on the barbie, mate."
"Throw another shrimp on the barbie, mate."
Yeah, I think leaves a lot to be desired, really. Apple, come on, get it together. Karen. Let's try Karen. Or we can just use the up key.
"G'day, mate, how ya going?"
I'm not sure about that.
"I am from down under, and it is great here."
Yeah.
"Throw another shrimp on the barbie, mate."
Yeah, sorry. No, won't be using the Aussie generate voice on my Mac anytime soon, unfortunately. But it was worth having a play with it, wasn't it? So if you're new to the stream, by the way, it's fantastic to have you here. We do this kind of stream every day where we mess about with audio, change audio, manipulate it, learn about new ways to create audio and all of that. You can subscribe. Best place to do it is youtube.com/music radio creative. Hit subscribe and then hit the bell next to it, and you'll never miss another live stream. Daily, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. UK time. In Australia, New Zealand, that's late at night. In the United States, Canada, and South America, that's kind of early morning. Here in Europe and Africa, it is sort of the middle of the day to late afternoon that we do this live stream. And of course, wherever you are in the world, it's late afternoon, evening over in places like Indonesia, in the Philippines, India, and all of that. So it's just great to have you watching wherever you are. Let me know in the live chat, by the way, right now where you're watching from, so I can shout out where you are right now. Will says, another good show, Mike. Thanks for teaching me something new. It's a pleasure. Modulate after pitch. Yes, interesting, isn't it? Interesting idea there. And Bruce, yeah, I know. Sorry about that. Real stereotype. Easy Media, what up, buddy? It's unfortunate that Cameron isn't joining us today. Yeah, I guess so. But I will definitely email Cameron and let him know that I've covered his question in my live stream today so he can watch it back on demand. David says, how are you dragging your clips around by grabbing the whole clip? I can only do it by grabbing the header on the clip. Ah, yes, it's a really, really good question. If you are in Adobe Audition multi-track, let's do that. So yeah, like I say, old habits really dying hard here because yeah, I know you've got the wonderful Alt and drag to duplicate and that works really well. So I'm duplicating these clips now by Alt and dragging the header. And yes, you can drag the header, but what I'm doing here, because I'm dragging around here, and that's quite funny, I right-click. I've got right-click enabled on my magic mouse, and you can actually then right-click anywhere on your audio clip and drag it. I think if you drag it on the header, if you drag it on the header, it does that copy here thing. So that's always been my workflow to do that. But now I know better with that. But yeah, I still right-click and drag around, unless, yes, what you could do is left-click the header and also drag. But I'm just used to right-clicking and dragging anywhere on the clip. So I hope that answers the question there for you, David. Renato says it works like Cool Edit Pro. Yeah, Renato's absolutely just answered it there. DevSynth, can those be exported? Yeah, any audio that I've got here can be exported and mixed down as a WAV or MP3 and syndicated out. Yeah, I know it's a bit fiddly grabbing the top of the waveform, isn't it? That tiny little header bit in the multi-track, moving things around. So there you go. What else have we got here? Quite a lot of stuff. What's this audio for, DevSynth? Well, really, it's just it's using your vocal cords or your voice as an instrument to sound like this, like that, or like this. Oh, hang on, I've put silly effects on now, so maybe I need to roll off some of those silly effects to get back what I had just a moment ago. We had something like this earlier. And that was all vocal, and of course the bush and the... That was one of my favorites, though. You could easily use that in a radio sweeper. So I'd say these are best used as imaging effects or transition effects or mix effects. If you're a DJ, you can create your own effects, kind of dial them out in strange ways inside Adobe Audition and then use them to your heart's content, however you so wish. Leonardo Favoretto. Mike, what about a how to create imaging effects for a next show? Well, it's funny you should mention that, actually. Yes, if you are... this is Cinema Sound, by the way. Played a tutorial from Cinema Sound at the start of this show. Go subscribe to Cinema Sound. Highly recommend it. This is my channel here, youtube.com/musicradiocreative. And I think if we look at the upcoming live streams here, which are always available on the front page, I don't know if it's there yet. I'm sure I have got, at some point, a stream coming up about imaging effects in Adobe Audition or in Logic Pro. It might not be scheduled yet. I think it's actually coming up a week on Friday. So not this Friday, but the week after. So great suggestion. And I know, by the way, I haven't mentioned it yet, but Music Radio Creative Community is a great place to join in with at community.musicradiocreative.com. Go and join up. It's free to join. Loads going on. Recent discussions include my home recording studio equipment list. So everything I use in my studio, it's all listed here. If you're interested to know what mixing desk I've got, audio interface, microphone, webcam I'm using, monitors, servers, all of that, it's all listed there in the community. So that's a popular topic right now. Introduce yourself, talking about plugins like Isotope stuff and Anterra's audio stuff. Adobe Audition CC cost. Should we have an Adobe Audition bootcamp somewhere in the world? That's another popular thread at the moment. Splicing things, sound effect resources, Adobe Story desktop app, just anything creative to do with audio is getting discussed in there. And there is a little section here, show ideas, where you can submit a show idea. And the most popular one at the moment, with 7 votes by the wonderful community there, is a live show about OBS Studio, which is kind of nothing to do with audio production and everything to do with live video streaming. But it's what you're asking for in the community. So like I say, if you have a show idea, submit it over there, Leonardo. Get people to vote on it. I'm definitely, it looks like, going to be covering OBS Studio, which is this beautiful piece of software that I use to stream my show live. And I do think it's fantastic. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking forward to covering that in the future. Dropco TM, hey, I really want to make a song for my brother, but I can't sing. How do I use auto-tune? It's a great question. Covered it on the stream a few weeks back, so go and check for it. Yeah, David, the Aussie accent is definitely not so good, is it? All the way from Jakarta, Indonesia, Daft Cat Brewing's in Wales, we got Lulian in Romania, Michael in Warwick, Rhode Island, USA as well, Minnesota, United States, Era is there. Thanks for saying great tutorials. What else have we got in here? Do a T-Pain effect, New Deep. Definitely go back and check out my auto-tune tutorial. That's where you want to be. Flicker, hello Mike from Hong Kong. Thank you. It is a great live show. Could you share how to make ambient music sometime? Definitely. I mean, go over, join the community, suggest that. Be a great one to get voted up. Andre is also in from Indonesia, where it's the evening time right now, I'd imagine. How do you turn off autoplay in the multi-track? Autoplay. Do you mean loop mode, like stopping it from looping round, like that? Just switching off the loop mode button? I guess that's it. That's one thing that you can switch off. Yeah, because it gets annoying if you're trying to audition one bit and then it keeps looping round. Lionel says, I really liked your sidechain tutorial from one of your tutorials, and that's Lionel in Zimbabwe. Well, thank you, Lionel. Really appreciate that. We've now taught each other shortcut methods with mouse dragging and alt dragging. Try moving a clip down holding shift to demonstrate what that does for anyone viewing right now. Ooh, okay then. So shift, shift. Oh, epic. That's cool. That's super cool. I always knew that something like this was possible in Adobe Audition. Hang on, you might want to see this in zoom mode. Right, so I'm just going to take this, hold shift, move it down. I move my mouse all the way around and it does not move. Now, David, I don't know if you know, but you've actually saved me a whole bunch of time, because what I used to do is if I wanted to save something and not move it around, I would lock it in time, which puts a little padlock on like that. And then, yeah, you get the same effect. But obviously if I take the padlock off and I'm not holding shift, this will move wherever I move my mouse like that, which is not good if I've got a completed session I want to keep in the same place. Shift, oh yes, I'm going to be shift moving all the time now in Adobe Audition. That is epic, David. You are Alt Control David, as they call you in the community, over at community.musicradiocreative.com. That's brilliant. So shift and drag in the multi-track locks your clip in time. My pleasure, Leonardo. Daft Cat Brewing loves OBS Studio, so yeah, definitely going to do a tutorial on that in the future. They've updated, by the way, to version 20 right now, and it's getting better and better. And there's stuff you can do in it that you can't do in paid versions of live streaming software. So I'm surprised, like really cool browser overlays and things like that. So I'm using OBS with pleasure, and glad to be supporting free and open source. Something else I can show you in the, if I just record a file, like, okay, rewind. This is a cool effect that I love playing with, the digital glitch. So when you do a rewind effect in the multi-track, like so, let's bring this in over here, make it nice and stereo. We can actually rewind. So that's nice and stereo. Switch on this little time icon here and drag it out. Rewind. So you get that nice rewindy sound effect. But the further you drag that out, the more inaudible the speech is going to be, up to 800%. And it goes on forever and ever 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 and ever. And finally, it's nice. That's something you can do with time stretching in the multi-track. Something I love it when you get sound effects like this. These are my favorite sound effects to drop into sweepers sometimes. Just little breaths like that. And then what I like to do with these, normalize and pop that in. Let's drag that over here. Pop it on a few different tracks of my multi-track presets here. Boom, 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 like so. And then wash it in reverb down here. I always say wash it in reverb, as if it's like you're doing the laundry, but it does sound good. Right, where are we? There it is. And I'll need to do some fade outs, clever fade outs on this, so that we get it sounding decent. Like so, like so, like so. That's nice. And left panning, right panning, left panning, right panning. Super nice. And then if you wanted a longer kind of breathy sound to drop in, the sound of summer. Wow. Nice. Yeah, it sounds like you're having a real deep yoga meditation there. Mix down time selection. And again, love a little bit of the pitch bender here. Cool. Or, you can use some of the presets down a whole step. And let's drag that in a bit more. And if we bring it to the end like that. And if we bring that further in, you're going to get a nicer glide up. Actually, I'll bring that right in like this. It's going to sound really interesting. So it just starts rising up towards the end. Nice. Turntable losing power is my favorite. Or you can have squirrely, which is... So, again, what you can do with the breath. Unbelievable there. What have we got? Ravigo saying, Ravigo55, fantastic trick indeed. David Silk. Yes, brilliant. We need to get these definitely documented in the community so others can benefit. How about ramp down speed? Christopher. Ooh, yes, ramp down speed. Kind of like pitch bending, or do you mean something else? I self-taught myself by just playing with the program and looking for quicker ways to do things. You are a time hacking expert, David. So, yeah, I wonder, does your knowledge apply just to Adobe Audition, or do you have shortcut and time hacks and productivity hacks for other software and even life hacks? Let me know, because, yeah, definitely I think we can all benefit from hacks like this. Really, really cool. Always such a pleasure to join Mike's live stream with you around. Yes, David brings great value to the live chat over at youtube.com/musicradiocreative. Wow, look at that. It is currently 50 seconds until the top of the hour as I do this live stream, so it's about time for me to say over and out. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and hope you've enjoyed a few of the vocal effects I've done and dialed in with different various effects in the waveform and multi-track view of Adobe Audition. Do continue the conversation over at community.musicradiocreative.com. That is the place to get involved. I am back tomorrow with a tutorial on how to make subliminal audio. Excited about that. So make sure you come back tomorrow, hit the bell so you never miss a live episode, and I will chat to you further in the Music Radio Creative community.